Hello again, everyone. That's Johnny. I'm Joe. We're here to talk about Iceman #4 by Sina Grace, Edgar Salazar, Rachelle Rosenberg, and Marvel Comics.
So Sina Grace, if you heard the name before, he did Little Depressed Boy for Image Comics. That's how I picked up to read this book. Iceman is an original X-Men character.
One of the original 5.
Yeah, he has a tough time like facing some. Can you say? Oh God, I'm ready to regret it. Cold hard facts.
Anyway. I took it as he's having a bit of a midlife crisis because he sees that his younger self is more embracing of the fact that he's openly gay than he is all this time.
The first issues, it's him coming to terms of who he is.
He joins a gay dating site.
He saves this mutant in the hospital because his father was in the hospital. He doesn't know who he is because at the end of the issue, he's like the kind of emoji. It's kind of like the OK Cupid thing of describe yourself in 500 words or less, and it's just like the shrug.
Yeah. So in issue 2, he has some alone time with Kitty Pryde
and X.
And they try not to make it too awkward, but they go to save this young mutant named Zach. His power seems to be that he can decrease or amplify people's powers.
So yeah, Kitty couldn't phase it out at one point, and he was afraid. Bobby was afraid that if he threw a snowball,
he was gonna freeze someone to death. The big thing with that is that Kitty felt left out. That Bobby didn't at least come to her.
That he was gay.
Yeah, that he was gay. She's like, even though we broke up, I still consider you a friend, and I always thought we were closer than that. And they end up leaving, having a better understanding, and they definitely seem to be on the same page. Where this is what I am. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, but you were in outer space. And apparently, one of the running gags is that he compares himself to the Star-Lord.
Yeah.
In issue number 3, Bobby kind of invites himself over to his parents' house. The big thing I liked about this issue was the opening page, actually, where he's mass texting everyone, yeah, so I'm gay. And
Boom Boom had the best response. Yeah. Like, oh, new phone, who's this?
North Star's like, oh my God, we need to talk about this right now. And Polaris is like, I always kind of knew. This group of purifiers, who apparently is run by the father of the guy who attacked Michaela, the young mutant, in the first issue, comes looking for revenge with a dozen or so of his buddies. And Iceman kind of has to go extreme on these dudes to take them all out because his father, who had just gotten home from the hospital,
just got hurt.
He grabs his chest at one point and he kills over.
That was all an act, I thought. Just to kind of as a distraction.
Yeah, because the father seemed to right at the end when they were fixing the house,
right?
And he was still pissy that apparently the thing is
he's having a hard time connecting with his parents because he.
It seems it's the mutant thing. Because, they're like, oh, do we always have to talk about mutant things? How come we just can't talk about normal people things?
Well, why can't you, get a job at the fire department?
Right, yeah.
With benefits and stuff like that.
You can use your powers for that, which, okay, on paper doesn't sound that bad if you think about it.
He does also have an accounting degree.
Yes, I forgot about that. So in issue 4 opens, Zach is missing, okay?
Has been MIA. And it turns out he's at a club called Greenwich Mean Time.
It's run by Daken, who, son of Wolverine. When Bobby walks in there, he's like, oh, this is really bougie. And it's one of the things I'm noticing, they're really playing up, he's kind of like Spider-Man in a way, where he always got a quick wit with everything that's happening. And
something always to say.
And even as soon as he walks in and he sees is this a new version of the Hellfire Club, and Daken is in his white suit, it's Bobby's immediately not attracted but drawn to him at one point. And they were dancing at one point, and it turned out, Daken was trying to use his pheromone powers on him.
That's what it was? I have no idea.
Yeah, that's why Bobby ended up, freezing him at one point.
And, to look for Zach, and, Zach is, moving all around to the club.
And it's the thing of where he feels more at home here. Apparently,
Daken taught him how to, kind of control his powers a little better compared to what, they were doing at the X-Mansion.
At Xavier's, yeah.
So, yeah. The mansion.
The mansion, yeah.
The mansion. So, and he was just basically he felt more at home. So he's like, I don't want to go back. And he's like,
but you gotta go back.
Yeah. And Bobby was kind of insistent here. I think that was more for doing it for Kitty Pride.
Yeah, Dakin unfreezes himself and they end up fighting while Zack gets away.
Well, Zack kind of like deactivates Bobby's powers, so like that allows Dakin to come out. And like they have a huge fight, and like Zack is escaping in a helicopter. Like he's actually like some like Hans Gruber type villain. It's just
no, it was very something straight out of like Die Hard or like old 80s action movie. Yeah. He even mentions yes, Dakin, you do look really good in that suit.
But he's like, you reek of insecurity. Yeah. So like how do you expect like the students to fall in line when you don't really like follow, like you don't have confidence in like what you're doing.
You don't believe in yourself. How do you expect to convey that to the next generation when you're not even comfortable with yourself? I did like the one part where Zack is like, I'm gonna give myself a code name and it's gonna be Zack Attack.
Is that the name of the band in Saved by the Bell?
Yes, that's exactly what that's from. The other great part was when
Friends Forever.
Yes, that was the song. The other great part is even Dakin's like, okay, when Iceman had him like frozen against the wall, Dakin's like, if you're gonna go on about pretty white people problems, then you could just stab me in the eyes right now.
He did like a Hadouken, right? It looked like kind of like a Kamehameha Hadouken.
Yeah, he charged it for a second and then he
made into like a giant snowflake.
So Bobby gets back to the mansion and he walks in, to Kitty's office, like, hey, I can explain why I'm late. And
I didn't get him. I didn't bring him back.
And it's one of those things where they're talking about two different things, because Kitty's like, oh, don't worry about it. I let them in and I talked to them. And Bobby's like, wait, what?
You're visitors, fool.
Yeah.
And then it turned out Bobby's parents come by,
and they seem to be more open to the idea of
him being a mutant.
And they're like, oh, walk us around your job, and like kind of like
give us a tour.
Yeah, give us a tour of the office. Maybe it's because of what Dakin got to him or something. First thing out of his mouth is, I'm gay.
That's how the issue ends. It's
and scene.
I think Cinna Grace is like the best person for this book, and I do love how with Marvel individual books, it like really gives like the character personality.
Right, and like you could never do this storyline in a main X-Men book, which has to cater to so many different characters at once. It normalizes the struggle that a lot of people are dealing with when they come out, especially having to come out to their parents. I like that they balance it with the fact where the parents are just coming to terms with the fact that he's a mutant, right?
Even though like he's a grown ass man.
Yeah.
And then like now it's like, oh, now on top of that, they have to deal with him being gay. So it's four issues in. There've been like a shuffle of artists. Like Alessandro Vitti was like another artist on the book. Ibram Roberson was like an extra artist, like an issue 2. The art's been consistent. Just definitely check it out. It's something like everyone should be reading.
It's really cool that Marvel has a book in their upper tier of a character who's openly gay. Because
if it was like a B or C level,
a character, people would be like, oh, they're doing it just to get just for sales, just to get the character out there. But Iceman is well known enough, and they've been building on this for a while now, where it doesn't seem forced.
As always, like, share, comment, let's discuss. Subscribe, please. Let's talk about Iceman. All right, see you guys next time.
All right, guys.
Bye.